Good morning to you once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Radio Voice of Niger. Name is Apostle Larry Dawkins. I'm so delighted to be coming your way this morning. I have a special package for you. Today we're going to be talking about our youth and security in Amsterdam Southeast. If you're there, you have a family, you have young people in your life. I think your foremost concern is about their safety and their well-being. Because a lot of things are happening lately. And so today, we know that the youth are living in a very different world from the world of their parents. And they're often exposed to situations and experiences that are foreign to that which their parents know. Because these days, a lot is happening online. And so they're exposed to many risks and dangers. And sometimes this leads to they becoming indoctrinated or even radicalized. And for young girls, sometimes they fall prey to pimps and pedophiles and whatnot. But thank God that the government is also aware of this, and the government, tries to curb or to prevent some of these things from happening. In other words, the government is working hard to keep our young people safe. Isn't that awesome? So today, I have with me in the studio a very important figure who happens to be working with the community Amsterdam. He also happens to be a person of color, and he is, responsible for dealing with youth and security matters. We met recently at a meeting in Southeast, yeah, and I thought it'd be nice to come and share thoughts with him regarding the safety of our young people. And let me see whether he's hearing me. Hi, Antonio, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Reverend Larry. Thank you.
Awesome. I like your voice. It's coming out clear. And also, I see you're sailing. Wow, this is cool. Yes.
Yes, I thought I would do something that gives me experience. Sailing is like going forward. So it's a nice metaphor.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we proceed, we would like you to feel free. If you want to interact with us, please call the studio line. That's 020-737-1301. Let me take that again. 020-737-1301. So, our guest today is Antonio Luzulo, who happens to be the project leader for youth and security in the district of Amsterdam Southeast. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Larry.
Yeah. And then, to help our listeners get on the same page with us, can you define the scope and the activities of your role as a project leader, youth and security? Can you define that to us?
Of course. I'm working for the district G-buurt, K-buurt and the A-buurt. So Krijnest, Gansenhoef, and the rest of the A-buurt. And the focus is very mainly on the youth in the ages between 13 and 23.
Yeah.
And what we do over there, it's like the children who come like in problem with the police or with each other, who makes like lots of noise, lots of vandalize things in the neighborhoods, and we try to manage like a project that give them an opportunity to make other choices. Sometimes it's in a group, sometimes individual, but we try to manage to and try to like every single aspect that we see to manage the best step we can put forward. And I don't do that I'm just by myself. I work with the police, I work with schools, I work with other organizations in Southeast. So it's not like me by myself, but I'm with a large group.
Yeah.
And with a head of security also from Southeast and in the G-buurt, the Belmont O's, what we call it. And that's my colleague Michael Nyarko. So we are the two of us, we work together.
Okay. Yes. So that's quite impressive.
Yes.
I can imagine. How do you get tip off by what's going on among?
Sometimes by people who lives there,
Mm.
the police, of course, and also not very important, the strat coaches. I know you know them with the red jackets on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bikes.
yeah.
They're also very important on the street because they are the eyes and the ears in the streets.
Okay.
So when you see them riding on the bike, it's not just like they are like security service, but they are really looking and try to contact with the youth because the only way to have contact with the youth if you make really face-to-face contact. So
Mm.
they give us tips. Sometimes also homeowners would like see youth hanging around in the neighborhood, in the flats, or before in front of their houses,
Yeah.
and also of course the police. So it's all from different angles where I
Mm.
get the information of, and what I do is then try to make a plan. Like if I going to contact them or I lead them to the police. So it's just to try to figure out is it very an aggressive kind of a problem, then I leave it to the police. If it's like a matter of talking and try to have a dialogue, like I try to do it myself, together with my colleague Michael Nyarko, what I called, and also the strat coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm just wondering, what is it that's been leading to youths like hanging out in groups and causing trouble? Is it is it out of boredom, or they don't have nothing to do, or they just don't? They are kind of
I
in
think
a situation whereby they don't have anything useful to do with their time.
yes, that's different situations I can manage. But one of the things is we had a large epidemic problem with COVID.
Yeah.
And you can imagine in 2020 when we had the house arrest, everybody has to stay at home.
Yeah.
And this group of people, okay, we adults, we can try to manage and say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna work at home. I will do the best I can at home, but I hope in the near future we can go outside. But for the youth, it was like the first time that they taken care, they was taken off their freedom.
Yeah.
And after a few years, they're getting it back, and it's like some kind of frustration of all these months, what
Yeah.
you can call it.
Yeah.
And also there's so this that's one of the problems. The second one is also the situation at home. A
Yeah.
lot of the youth have like financial problem, emotional problem, you can name it, and they're trying to look at outside with the friends, with
Mm.
bad friends, good friends, you name it. And also a third thing that I can call is also the peer groups outside are very important for especially children who are very can be very influenced by key figures. And so for them, it's like going with a group instead of making the right choices. So there are different angles you can see the problem, but the main thing is what I can say is like a problem that is inside of especially neighborhoods where there are a lot of youth with the
Mm.
same kind of
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. 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 Well, I am quite thrilled by what you're saying. I'm sure you grew up here yourself as a youth, right?
Me myself, I grew up in Kralenbeek, the old Kralenbeek,
Yeah.
the big flat.
Yeah.
So sometimes I can like relate to the children. I didn't have police problem when I was young. I'm 43 years old right now.
Mm.
So I lived here until I was like I started living with say I was 6.
Mm.
So I used to work around at Kleinest, Gansenoef. So those neighborhoods are for me like my playground. Used to be my playground.
Yeah.
So for me, give me a motivation to when I talk and when I see the youth, like try to talk to them and try to relate. Like I hope I can be like some kind of key figure they can look up to because I'm from the same color, same background, maybe a different country, but in Belma, like you know, Nigerian, Ghana, Suriname, Antillians, and all different countries, we are all the same. Especially all small little things are different, but so I try to be like a key figure. So for me, I can relate with some of the things, but other things are for me totally new
Okay.
because in my time we didn't have social media, for
Yeah.
instance.
Okay. Well, those of them that are hanging outside, I don't suppose they are busy with social media then.
Yes,
Those of them who are going about maybe destroying things or making noise and causing a lot of
yes.
nuisance, uh, these are, I mean, things they're doing outside. So I am just trying to like understand. When you were younger, I'm sure, of course, things are different in terms of online activities and the possibilities that they have now. But
Yes.
in terms of the number of youth that we probably had back in your days. We still
Yes.
have a large number of youth today. So,
Yes.
what is different about the times you grew up in and what they are exposed to now? Because, of course, the internet is another issue, major issue for them now.
Yeah.
But the nuisance that gives the impression like they are idle and they are bored and they need something to do to release their energy, and therefore they do some crazy things. How different is that from your time? You get my point or not?
I get your point very clear.
Yeah.
I think two things like economic problems. I think you can see that there are a lot of if you want to have a job today, you can have it immediately because there are a lot of work,
Yes.
but there are a lot of employees who are not able to go to work. And for the youth, like the economic, a lot of things have been very expensive now.
Mm.
And if you get a combination of a materialistic way of thinking
Yeah.
and think that's very expensive, then you can imagine like if you get kinderbijslag from your mother, for your parents, and it's not enough to buy clothes, shoes, and things you like of a mobile phone, you will look at outside like on a bad way.
Yeah.
So what the problem is with the youth, they are very, very materialistic. Of
Yeah.
course, in my time, we were materialistic as well.
Yeah.
But the combination with the internet, where you can be exposed with a lot of key figures who have a lot of expensive
Money.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone, a guy of 18, riding with a car, a Mercedes Benz from like say 60,000 euros. You
Yeah.
have a chain, a gold watch, and all these things. Like
Yeah.
if you are 18 at the same age and you don't have all these things,
Yeah.
it will do something with you,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
especially with your self-esteem and all these things. So a lot of these youths are like, okay, I want to have it too.
Yeah.
I won't go to work, but I want to have a fast life.
Yeah.
So, and if you have criminal guys outside, they
Yeah.
know this way of thinking. They say, you know what? I can help you with this problem. Come
Wow.
and talk to me, and
Wow.
we will figure it out.
Wow. What a
So
temptation.
it's a very, very, very large problem who is on the needs here in Southeast, but also in the West. I think in the whole of the Randstad, because Den Haag, Rotterdam, Utrecht, you name it, especially in these urban communities, it's a very large problem, especially with internet, Instagram, especially Snapchat,
Yeah.
where they are being
Seeing a lot of
seeing
things.
a lot of things, a lot of
Yes.
cash money,
Oh,
fast money,
wow.
and not on a legal way. So instead of going to work at McDonald's or Albert Heijn or Jumbo,
Yeah.
what is also a good thing to do, and a lot of youth do that also, but it's a big group who thinks, no, I'm 16, I won't go work at Jumbo or Albert Heijn or you name it. I want to go to do something faster. I want to have 3,000 euro tonight, not
Mm.
at the end of the year. So if that is your mind state,
Yeah.
then I think we have a big problem.
It's I'm
Yeah,
just blown away by what I'm hearing.
yeah. So
Okay.
that makes
So,
me scared as well.
yeah, yeah. Now this is a problem in the urban areas, right?
Yeah,
Now, in the other areas which is not so urban, other parts of the country where there
yeah.
are youth, so you are saying this kind of problem is not really prevalent, right?
No, I will say it's also prevalent in other parts of the country,
Okay.
also not urban areas. But I think in the urban areas, because it's a big group with the same problem. So
Yeah,
what they do is like the peer group pressure. It's too large.
yeah, yeah,
So instead of giving each other good advice, giving a props for like go to work, go to school, and things like that,
yeah, yeah,
and also the household, like a single parent household,
yeah,
you name the problems, not enough care of the mother or the
yeah.
father,
Other, yeah, yeah, yeah,
makes you think like, you know what, I'm going to do it outside, and I have friends outside who can take care of me, who will listen to me, who give me love emotionally, financially, so they
mm,
will take it outside. And I don't want to blame the parents, of course not, but that's
yeah.
also one of the problems that start if the household is not
It's not
stable,
strong. Yeah,
is
stable
not
to.
strong,
Yeah,
and if the boy or the girl is also not very stable in the mind,
yeah.
that's the start of the problem, and it will go all the way to outside.
It
So
is serious.
but I will have to say also there are a lot of single parent household who do
Yeah,
a good
good
job
job.
by taking care of the children. So I won't say that if you have grew up in a single household that immediately will get into trouble. Of course not. But that's a very big cause of the problem. if you grew up in a single household
Wow.
because you miss 50%.
Wow. Well, listeners, if you're following the discussion and you feel like contributing or asking a question, you're welcome to call us on the studio line 02073711301. I am just wondering, Antonio,
Yes.
um, with this magnitude of problem that we are just talking about, I wonder how you guys are able to solve it, because for me, it's like it's really out of control. It's kind of
To be
so.
honest,
I wonder.
yes, I don't have the vision like I can solve all the problems. My main thing is if I can reach at least two of the 100, for me, it's like I've reached my goal. Why? Because if I can reach one person, that person can reach the other one, and that person can reach another one. So it will be like a chain reaction.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm not God, I'm not Jesus. I cannot reach all of the youth because some of them are very hard-minded and they have
Mm,
make their choice like I will be the biggest criminal ever.
mm,
So for me, it's like a lost battle. But I choose to stay in front of them and try to talk to them and reach out to them because they are a large group who is just like in balance of shall I do it or shall I not do it? And that's the group that I'm trying to reach.
yeah.
That's the group that I think that still have chance to make the right choices, and also the parents. Take stay in contact with the parents. I talk to a lot of parents of all different nationalities, even Dutch parents as well. It's not like only the black community, but
Yeah.
I think it's larger than that. But in Southeast, of course, the biggest community is black. So I try to reach Suriname parents, Ghanaian, Nigerians, Antillians, you name it, and give them information, give them advice. Try to stay in contact with your children, with your child, because the telephone is starting to be the new parent, especially
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah, that's true. Now, are there, let's say, you some groups that you guys are familiar with, um, groups that maybe have become prominent or have a certain notoriety, certain groups that are, you know, they are leading in a way. Other young people want to look up to them or want to belong to those groups. Are you familiar with groups like that?
Of course, do you
Because
know like in a
if you're going to solve a problem like that,
yes,
it's probably part of it may be having to deal with those in those sorts of group
yes.
and how to either diffuse the ideas they are carrying or to counsel them in a way that they will just have to drop those groups and do something better with their lives. I don't know. Tell me if you are accustomed
Yes.
to those groups.
In Kleines, we used to have a group in Kikkerstein. I don't know if you're familiar with drill rap music.
What music?
Drill rap music.
Rap.
That's yeah,
Uh,
drill rap. That's like some kind of gulf of music. It's like rap music, but another generation kind of rap.
yeah.
And the group was named called KSB. That's a
Sky is free.
Kikkerstein Bende.
Okay.
They're originated in Kikkerstein in Krynest, and they were a group with ages between let's say 14 and 22, 23.
Yeah.
And what they were doing is making rap music, but also very violent rap music because they have
Yeah.
ski
Yeah.
masks on,
Yeah.
fully black with machetes and knives and things like that.
Oh.
And so their goal was like to be a violent group who is not scared of anybody and they want to like to take care of their neighborhood like it's their own. Like Kryness is of
Yeah.
their own.
Yeah.
And of course they have
Yeah.
rivals from Vensterpolder.
Yeah.
There was another group, it's called FOG,
Hey.
and that stand of fully op gevaar. So if you know those names, fully op gevaar, that means like constantly in danger,
Danger. Fully of cover. Okay.
fully op gevaar.
Yeah.
And so those groups are very violent and rivals of each other. With also, sadly, a guy passed away. Also, he was stabbed at Florijn. I think now 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He was 16 or 17 years at the time, or 18, I think. And those are the groups who are very leading and are like role models for a large group of young guys who are growing up right now in the age of 12, 13, even at kindergarten, even at the basisschool. Children at groep 7 and groep 8 are looking up to those groups. And also in Hollandrecht, we have a large group called Zone 6. Uh, they're originated in Hollandrecht, and they are like the arms are growing up all through the southeast, actually.
This is
And what you see now is uh you have a lot of groups who are like intimidating other people. And what they say, I'm from zone 6. So if you don't do what I say to you,
yeah.
I will get my group and we'll put like an explosive at your door, or
Mm,
we will rob your chain, we will rob your sisters and everything, and all of the name of Zona 6. And sometimes they're not even part of Zona 6, but they just say it just to enlarge their power and be very intimidating. So those are the groups in Southeast. There are also other little groups, but those three used to be like the group
mm,
who are like leading models
mm.
for this young youth.
My goodness, it's it sounds for me out of this world. Honestly, I it's like this is coming from another world. That what I'm
I
hearing.
understand,
This is
and
so strange to me.
if you ask I've talked to these guys who are in these groups, what is your goal, what are you trying to reach in your life, why are you doing this, why are you choosing for violence, why not choose for like for something like sport, or even you make music. And
Yes,
music is like an art form, it's a
yes,
very good thing, even though it's not my taste of kind of music, but it's for you, it's an art, and you have a freedom of speech.
yeah,
Please go ahead, do your music and everything. But music where you're trying to reach with violence and try to kill each other, especially uh, your fellow citizens who lives in Southeast as well. At this age, I don't think you will make it until 25 or 30.
mm,
And but what you see is the same problems you see in every group. uh, Single household, not good at school,
yeah,
problems from the youth, especially economic problems, a
yeah,
lot of death. So what they try to do is try to save the problems in a group form.
yeah,
That's for them a solution. Is like safety. It's like a brotherhood, and that gave them safety. But on the long term, I don't know if that safety is going to help them with the problem that they have individually. So what I try to talk to them about is, if you need some help, it's not a shame to go to the right places. Like, go to your family, go to your parents. And if you're not able to go to your family, there are also organizations from the gemeente who can help you with all these kind of things. If it's not going well at school, try to talk to your teacher. Reach out to the to the help. But for them, it's like a big gap
yes,
and a big step that they don't want to take. And for me, it's like it's a shame, because if you don't try to make this step, I don't think if you were able to change your mindset on
yeah,
the long term, and
yeah,
at a young age making these bad choices
yeah,
will lead you all to the prison,
yeah,
or even a funeral for your family,
yeah, 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 yeah.
sadly.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free. You can call in and let us know if you are following and you have a question about this. But Antonio, I was just wondering, do you have direct contact with some of these groups and those in charge of those groups? Because if you're talking about changing the narrative, it
Yes,
starts with engaging some of these young people at
yes.
their level, so you can have a dialogue of some sort.
I
So,
think
do you have any sort of contact or connection with them to be able to even engage them?
Yes, with some of them, yes. Some of them, of course, I grew up with the brothers of them, or I know their uncles, things like that, because this is a generation of the age, like they are in the 20s.
Yeah,
So, most of the guys that I know I'm in contact with is because I know their brothers, or I know their uncles, or their dad, things like that. Because Southeast is like a village. Everybody knows each other, some kind of connection.
yeah,
So we go to school in each other. So I have in contact with some of them, yes. The problem only is to get influence, to get their attention. I'm in dialogue with them. I can talk to them, but some of them they take like 30% of my story, and the other 70, it's like what they do for themselves. So it's a battle, but it's a long battle. But I have patience. So my motivation is just stay in contact and for the community. And I'm not doing it by myself. I'm doing it together with other colleagues of mine. So yes, I can get in talk to them, in contact with them, and but it's very difficult because the most of them are like ashamed to stay in contact all of the time.
Well, this sounds to me the way the approach that you guys have now sounds to me more like trying to contain the problem and to manage it as opposed to like a very radical. When I say radical, not like in an aggressive way, but
Hmm.
an approach that, let's say, at the very root of it, kind of tries to fix the problem or not dismantle it, but okay, make sure that this thing dies off naturally. I don't think that the government has really, really found a way to solve this problem in the proper way. Of course, I understand there are issues with family upbringing, poverty, and single parenthood, and all those things. I do agree. Uh, and these issues also should have a solution of some sort, but it's not clear to me whether you guys have a proper strategy to um, to dissolve or to clear this problem in the long run. It may be over the next 5, 10 years. I don't know. Do you guys have something like that? Because if otherwise, it's like you're just going to be managing it, keeping them in check that they don't break the laws, they don't go overboard. But to say, hey, this thing, this problem, if it's left this way, in a period of time, these gangs are going to be brutal, like in Southern America, some places, Venezuela, Colombia, where these guys have become so powerful, with guns,
Yeah.
with weapons, and they can make life miserable. You see, so
Hmm.
you get the point I'm making.
Yes.
What's really the approach you guys have? Because it sounds quite interesting and dangerous, but it's a little problem which can become very big.
Yes, of course. You have to understand also that there will always be a group of youth that will always make like different choices. Because they think like the mainstream is not for me. I'm
Mm.
like an outlaw.
Yeah,
I'm a different kind of guy. I
yeah,
don't need help from the government. I don't need no help from well-science workers and things like that. There will always be a part of the group in the community that will make different a sidestep.
yes, 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 yes.
The only thing is, and to be honest, this group are not like the biggest group between the youth, because it would be very concerning if you will see like from the 100%, from the 100% of the group, like if 80% is like that kind of mentality, then you have a very, very, very big problem, because that's like a lost battle.
Yeah.
This is a small kind of group, and this group is small because the majority goes to school, have
Mhm.
work, have no problems with police, is not violent at all.
Yeah.
Just a small group, but have like big escalations. And now with this bombings at houses and things like that, it's not the biggest group of all of the youth of Southeast. Because and that doesn't make me proud. Because if that was the problem, then I would say, sorry, Mr. Larry, but I cannot help this problem. This is a problem that you have to call the army. You have to call. Maybe you have to reinvent dienstplicht
Yeah.
to choose to go to the army and things like that. That's not the case at all. What we have, the strategy is actually with the stadsdeelvoorzitter, Danja Lansing,
Yeah.
love and law. Give them love
Hmm.
if you can hear them, but be very strict if they go over the
To
street.
break the law, yes.
When they break the law, they have to be strict. That's why they have the police. The police is here to give punishment. But before you give them punishment, try to contact them.
Mm.
And we are able to stay in contact with them, because the youth, if what they need is to stay in contact with you. And when they are in contact with you, then you can reach them out. Then you can make trying to change the mindset. And we are able to change a lot of these youth. And some of the groups that I used to call, that I call the KSB and the FOG, they don't exist anymore, because they are growing also. Those guys were 16 back then when they started. They are now 24, 25, 26.
Yeah.
They have made a different mindset. But what you have is a new generation of 14 who thinks, okay, I can do it as well, but I'm
Mm.
going to do it different. And this is the group that we are teaching now, and we are reaching out now. And the strategy is actually give them possibilities in the communities, studios, sport, economic help, schooling, parent health, and things like that. So that's all the main things that we do in the communities, and it's going very well,
Hmm.
because what I can see is uh of course, the crime rate is sky high, but it's not on a different level that it was like 20 years ago.
Hmm.
It's not different than 20 years ago. So what I'm trying to say is we will always have a group in the community who make different choices. But what we have to do is be strict, work together, and try to reach out. And it's very easy said, I know, but
Hmm.
that's the strategy we have to do because with the youth, they are in Dutch we call it onvoorspelbaar.
Yeah.
And with these new things like social media, everything happens on social media. It's not on the streets anymore. It's not
Yeah.
like you will see guys on the corner doing things.
Yeah.
Everything is on the
Online.
internet. So
Yeah.
you have to make you change your focus and go on the internet as well and
Yeah.
try to talk to them over there. So
Mm.
you have to be very knowledgeable about internet, about social media to stay in contact with them. And that's the strategy you have to follow. Otherwise, you will lose the battle. I will be honest.
Yes, 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 yes. Wow, wow. What a what an eye-opening story here. Wow, wow. But I just really pray and hope that it goes better with our young people because if this thing is not really managed well, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
No,
But
and
mm,
yes,
yeah, but the young. I mean, okay, those of them you're saying now. There are youth groupings all over, but there are those that are troublemakers. They are smaller. They are minority.
yes,
Okay, so they are on your the radar of you guys. They are on your radar.
yes.
Okay, so are you trying to help them get out of that kind of attitude and mindset, or you are just managing them? That part I have not really gotten what is
Okay,
you are doing.
sorry.
Mhm.
Yes. No, we try to get them out of this mindset because the mindset is like the identity. And
Yes.
if you change your identity, that will
Yeah.
change your mindset and your way of thinking in life.
Yes.
Because if that is the only thing you have known for
All the
several years,
yes.
that it started to be like something, a way of life. It's
Yeah.
like natural for you.
Yeah.
So we try to manage and think, you know what, you have to change that magnitude, like violence and picking money instead of earning money. Uh, uh, Change your mindset of intimidating people instead of sharing ideas with people. And a lot of these guys are also very artistic on
Mm.
any kind of way.
Yes.
Because if you are very keen or um, laundering money through the internet, like for marketplaats and things like that, that
Yeah.
means you have something
You're
very
clever.
good with ICT. So maybe you
Precisely.
should do something with computers.
Correct.
So we turn the mindset and talk to them for look, you're very good with computers, you're very good with managing credit card fraud and things like that. Maybe you should do something with ICT, computers, because you are very talented in that, you're very keen in that. So
Yeah.
try to figure out something like that. Guys who are very like, so that's the way of talking, we try to talk to them. And of course, some guys, I will be honest with you, Reverend Larry, they are not very solvable because in the mindset they grew up with a low IQ,
Yeah.
uh, in a household where they were not very emotional, caring, and things like that.
Mm.
So what those guys need is stable life, practical things like go get a job, security from the police or any health organization, and moving out of this community. Because if you stay in this environment, it will go on and on and on and on. So I'm not saying that you have to move all of the bad apples, but that's what it starts. If you're not going to maintain the way we are trying to reach, then I think there's no way of place in this community for you.
Mm.
And it's not I decided, but it's something we decide together. And we say, you know what, for you, it's better maybe to start a life in a different community
Right.
where you have to do other things instead of making a community that's very talented and very fruitful, making it bad.
Mm. Yes. 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 I sincerely think some of these young people who get into this criminal behavior, like I agree with you that some of them are really clever, talented, they're gifted,
Yes,
and sometimes out of maybe lack of direction for them to
yes,
get into the right things, then they channel that into evil things.
mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if the law, like I think you probably said, like Tanya said, okay, use love and the law at the same time.
Yes,
Manage them, show them love, compassion, but also when they do wrong, they must be punished, and that is
of
nice.
course.
So hopefully that strategy is paying off because you know I think everybody has in them something good,
Of
and
course.
well, there is something evil as well. But some
Yes.
the evil in them has been triggered more than the good, as it were.
Yes.
So that is why we are seeing this kind of result. So if hopefully the law enforcement also is has changed or is looking at it from that perspective, and the people are not bad in themselves, the young people are not bad in themselves, but somehow something has gone wrong, and that's why they are channeling their abilities into the wrong things.
Yes.
You see, and then of course to influence other people. So I think they want to do good for themselves and hopefully for society, but somehow something just gone wrong in the approach. Yeah,
Yeah.
truly, I just hope that some of the young people who are unfortunately caught up in the web of evil and violence will
Yeah.
really come out of it because they can do a lot better for themselves and for society.
I hope so. Very good. And that's why I try to talk also with the parents about, because all of these guys, of course, girls as well, but all of these guys, they were born as babies. They were laughing and
Mm.
like any normal
Oh,
baby. So they
yeah, yeah,
didn't grew up bad.
yeah,
They grew up maybe in a bad environment.
yes,
So you have to give everybody a chance. And I'm not like I'm naive to think that you can help everybody. Of course not. Some of them you have to be straight with them. Be honest. The things you are doing is not acceptable at all. It's very bad. It's very negative and it's very negative, especially for younger people like you. But expect so when I talk to the parents, it's like try to figure out how is the situation as a home. What
mhm,
are the parents telling? Because I cannot say that if you're talking to a 15-year-old boy that their parents are not knowing at any time what they are doing.
mhm, yeah,
So like we say in Dutch, oude betrokkenheid.
yeah,
I don't know how to say it in English,
yeah.
but
Parental responsibility,
parents'
something like that.
responsibility, of course, that's a very important thing
Yeah,
because we are responsible actually all of our life. Even though they have passed 18, you're still responsible for the
responsible.
actions of your child. Of
Yeah, yeah,
course, legally, when they are 18, they're responsible for themselves.
yeah.
But you, as a parent, you're always responsible for the actions of your child.
Mhm.
So when I try to talk to a youth, I also want to talk to the parents because that's also a very important thing you have to manage in this case of problem because you cannot help everything without getting into contact with the parents.
Yeah. Now, are this youth that we're talking about? Are they all past? They gone past the school going age, or some of them are supposed to be in school, and or they're still in school and doing that, or they have dropped out? What is the
The
situation?
most of them I should have been at school. That's where it started.
But
Because if they dropped out or they're not very good making good figures at school, so it's like school is being a problem. And I have to be honest with you. We started this talk about what is the problem about the youth. COVID have made a lot of started a lot of depression
Mhm.
between the youth because if you will talk to the GGD, you will talk to Young Health Organization, they will tell you there's a large group of you who have like mental problems
Problems.
and mental problems because of depression, because of loneliness, because of economic problems, you name it. So and I don't want to say, okay, if you feel depressed or if you feel lonely, you have to go and do bad things, but this is a very big problem in this new generation, the depression. And because of COVID also, because COVID, we didn't know what it do cause in the whole wide world. And
Yeah.
we have seen with all of the things they have caused, even with adults, it has changed our way of life, a way of thinking, because you
Mm.
have being scared and you have like, okay, I have to do things now. I have to be very fast because in a split second, everything can be gone.
Yeah.
So most of these children, to be answer your question, should have been at school because they are 15, 16, 17. So some of them doesn't even have a degree at all. So it starts at school. This is why we are also in contact with the school. How is his action at school?
Yeah.
Does he go to school? What kind of school is he going to? What is the communication between school and the household?
Yeah.
Because if the household, the parents don't know what they're doing at school, that's where they start. So it's always a cycle. School, the parents, the overhead,
Yeah.
and also the people on the streets, the strat coaches and the police.
Yeah. So this the Lear plicht that government has. At what age does it stop? Because I expect that if somebody is a teenager and is into criminal
Yes,
behavior, that child that teenager is supposed to be in school. So
Yes,
question is, when does this start and stop? At what age does
it
it need
start
to start?
actually it stop at 18,
18. Okay.
18, and especially if you have like your qualification degree, then it stop. You're not legally forced to go to school anymore. But at 18, you're like, I always have to say that they become free to go and stand where you want. That's
Mm,
what's cool about. But sometimes you can also go to 23, because if you don't have any degree at all, they cannot penalty you, they cannot punish you or anything, but they can like give you an advice to go different kind of school ways. But the age is actually 18.
18. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So these guys who are call them bad youth, let's put it in quotes.
Yes.
They all are part. They are more than 18 now.
Yes.
Who are still influencing other younger people. They are more than 18. You're saying.
Yes. Some of them are younger. Some of them are 16, 17. It
So
depends. It depends
technically,
actually at the role in the on the
no, so,
streets.
so if they're 16 or less than 18, they're supposed to be in school.
They're supposed to be in school. Yes.
So, well, if they're in school, then you have some influence. The teachers have some influence, and hopefully the governments have some influence because they can control and monitor what they're doing or whatever
Yes.
that I expect or not.
Yes, of course. But what you see is also, you know, the schools, some of the schools are like not very cooperative. And why? Because they think like everything what happens in school is
Yeah,
our
this
problems,
is
our
school. Yeah,
situation.
yeah, yeah,
Everything what happens outside of school is
yeah.
for the
Yeah,
police, is
right.
for the parents, is
Yeah.
for them. We try to say no, because they are children of your school. So
Yes,
any action what happens outside, I want to tell you that so you can know, okay, what
yeah,
is like the context
yes,
beside this guy. Because if this guy is doing the very evil things on the streets, and on Monday morning he come to school
yes,
and say, "Hello, teacher, how are you doing?" It's like a two face,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yes,
knowing that yesterday he stabbed someone, or he put a grenade on somebody's doorstep or
yeah,
anything. So we try to stay in contact with school to talk, especially the strat coaches. That's why they are very important,
yeah,
strat coaches, because they know the names, they know what happens in the streets, they know what kind of groups are getting bigger, they know the key figures in all these communities. So we have like weekly or some monthly meetings with the school, with the strat coaches, and with the police to make sure, okay, what is of this moment the list of the guys who make the biggest problems?
mm,
What are the key figures that we have to pay attention on? What we have to shine our light on?
mm. Okay,
And we got to communicate with the school. And now we have changed also the action, the mindset of the school, like open the doors, let's work together, you
yes,
know. But
yes,
I know why the school are acting like that, because they don't want to have a stamp like we have a
yeah,
bad school, we have a school
but
with
kids in the school.
criminals. So
Yeah,
I understand the idea, but it's naive to think that if you close the door, that you will have no problem at school, because the school are also a part of the community. You
yeah,
know,
yes, yes,
you're inside of the community. You're not somewhere outside of the city. You're
no,
inside of the community, and all of the children are from this community. So the only thing you have to do is open the door, and let's go communicate and work together,
yeah,
especially.
absolutely.
And I'm glad to say that in Southeast, with Ultra, with Bindeme College, with ROC Opmaat,
Mm.
all of these schools, we work together and very well, because they understand that the school cannot do it by
On your
themselves.
own. Yes, 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 yes.
We need all kinds of bodies together. So we have monthly meetings when we discuss things,
Mm.
also with the parents sometimes, to get them the information that they need.
Okay. So in this case, how are, let's say now the boys and the girls, how are some of the boys maybe taking advantage of the girls in order to put them in a vulnerable situation, like those girls, some of those girls who have been shamed when they
Yes,
put their private photos
yes,
in,
yes, yes,
on social media, for example. Uh,
yes.
how about that kind of problem? Is that also
That is a very big problem. Unfortunately, a lot of girls, of course, when they are in the age of 13, 13, 15 years, they try to, they're getting know of their bodies and things like that. And when you
Mm,
fall in love with a guy, of course, you will get interested, and they send pictures. And what these guys do nowadays is taking care of these pictures, and they're like, how can I call it? making advantage of them, because these are girls who are sometimes also have mentally problems, and because of this mental problem they cannot oversee the bigger picture,
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
because if you send your picture to some guy and he send it to all of his friends,
Yes.
and then he said to them, you know what? If you don't come today at my house and you have sex with me and my friends, I will send this picture to all of your family and all of the internet, and everybody will laugh at you. So they put him in actually with a back against the wall and say, you have to do what I'm saying, otherwise you will get in problem. So there's a lot of problem with girls sending nude pictures, and sadly, a lot of these girls have, like, because of shame,
Yeah.
committing suicide, jumping off flats. Because we have one girl, I think it's like 4 years ago, she
Yes.
jumped off the flat at Kikkerstein. If I
Mhm.
can, Kikkerstein of Kleiberg, I don't know anymore. Because of these things, because at this age, sometimes you cannot very oversee the bigger picture,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you will make this big church. So that is the problem. But this was also when I was growing up. So it is something that will not go away just like that, because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like this is children kind of things.
Yeah.
And if you don't manage to control your child, of course I know parents cannot control the child 24/7,
Mm.
but it starts with talking to your child.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Who are you in contact with? Who are your friends? Who are you seeing? How is it outside? How is it at school? Stay in contact with your child. That's the least you can do as a parent.
Well, I think it's not an easy topic.
No,
It's very,
it's
very,
not
very
an easy
broad.
topic. I know.
Yeah. But I think we still have a responsibility to manage this and to help our kids put them on the right path. So I think we will have to end the discussion here. But definitely, I think we'll have to follow up. And in the follow up, I think we'll get maybe two youngsters to come on a show with
Yes.
you to
Okay.
discuss this. Yes.
Yes, I will happy to do that.
Yeah. Well, so I would like to thank you so much for your time, and I really enjoyed this time with you. And
You thank you as well to inviting me, Mr. Larry.
yeah, and we'll catch